I didn't expect to be making yet another lighting video so soon, especially not one about Philips Hue. But Hue just addressed the absolute #1 biggest pain point between smart home enthusiasts and Hue bulbs: the price. They've released a more budget-friendly A19 bulb, and on top of that, this bulb has matter over thread compatibility, which they've also added to their standard A19 bulb as well. So today, we're seeing if this new bulb is worthy of the Hue name and how it compares to the Hue bulbs that we all know and love, which are at least 9 times more expensive.
I'm Patrick Hunt, and I want you to like smart home tech as much as I do. Real solutions with Matter, Apple Home, and a little creativity. Weekly, I'll show you how small upgrades can make a big difference. Welcome.
This video is sponsored by Philips Hue, is what I would be saying if they would return my phone calls. I bought these bulbs, paid for, full price. Up until this release, we were really running out of thread bulb options. The nanoleaf matter over thread bulbs are a big question mark, and most other bulbs are either Wi-Fi or Zigbee, with the exception of the Aqara T2, which is both thread and Zigbee. But now, the very popular Philips Hue A19 is now matter over thread compatible, as is this new Philips Hue Essential A19. Before now, if you looked at a Philips Hue box, it would just have a little Bluetooth symbol in the top right-hand corner. That's because technically, the Zigbee protocol and any smart home integration was really only possible through the Philips Hue bridge. So if you walked into the store and picked up a Philips Hue bulb without the bridge, you had a Bluetooth bulb. Now when you look at the box, it has the Matter logo among several other logos. What's noticeably missing from the box and the manuals is any mention of thread. It's like they just expect you to know that thread comes along with Matter here. I added both of these bulbs to Apple Home, and then I went to the Eve app to check the thread network, and sure enough, both of them showed up as thread devices. But the Hue bridge is not a Matter controller, and it's not a thread border router. So once these bulbs were added into Apple Home as matter over thread devices, they could not be added to the Hue bridge and therefore not the Hue app as well. So when these bulbs are connected via Matter to Apple Home, you are controlling the bulbs entirely in Apple Home. And as others have discovered with the Matter update to the Hue bridge a little while back, their Hue bulbs in Apple Home no longer supported adaptive lighting. And that goes the same for these two bulbs as well. In contrast, the nanoleaf matter over thread bulb and the Aqara T2, when connected via thread, both supported adaptive lighting in Apple Home. If you're unfamiliar with adaptive lighting, when enabled, the bulb would just change color temperature throughout the day. So in the middle of the day, it was a bit whiter, and in the morning and in the evening, it was a bit warmer. I've wanted to get rid of the Hue bridge in the past and consolidate all of my Zigbee devices onto one hub. But I didn't like the idea of losing all that advanced control through the Hue app, which would no longer be possible at that point. I was really hoping to get the best of both worlds here, add them into Apple Home via Matter, and then somehow discover them in the Hue app, add them, and have full control there. But the Hue app couldn't find the bulbs once they were in Apple Home via Matter. So your options are either add directly into Apple Home via the Matter integration, no hub required, but you won't have access to the Hue app and you won't have adaptive lighting. Or you can add the bulbs the traditional way via the Hue app, which connects them to the bridge via Zigbee and then the bridge into Apple Home. You have Hue app access. Adaptive lighting is back in Apple Home, but you'll need to keep that Hue bridge. I had certain expectations of this Essential bulb when I heard of its release. And my big question, given that I love the color reproduction of Hue bulbs, was this. Outside of brand trust and stability, would it really matter that this budget bulb carried the Hue name? And even then, when it came to stability, was that largely due to the bridge? A lot of users swear by Philips Hue, the same way that a lot of users swear by Lutron. I don't think it's a coincidence that both of these brands require their proprietary hub. So, will die-hard Hue users still feel that these bulbs should be as reliable when connected via Matter? Or will these die-hard Hue users even try to connect these bulbs via Matter? Maybe this is just a direct and better replacement to the Bluetooth option that most serious smart home enthusiasts probably didn't rely on in the first place. Am I a die-hard Hue user? Because I was excited for Matter over thread, but not at the expense of losing the app or adaptive lighting. Anyway, I did some more side-by-side comparisons. We have the new Philips Hue Essential A19 on the left, which is $15 per bulb in a pack of 4. In the middle, we have the updated Philips Hue A19, which does have some updated specs. Both of these are the bulbs that now support Matter over Thread, in addition to the bridge and Zigbee connection. And then I have my original A19 bulb on the right, which at this point is probably 10 years old. This first test was entirely in Apple Home using the Matter connection, with the exception of my original bulb, which is through the bridge. I cycled through colors at around 50%, went to full brightness, down to 1%, and you can see that the new A19 bulb is much dimmer. It almost looks off, but it's not. And not to get too much into the specs, but this new A19 bulb should get much warmer and much cooler than the Essential bulb. It also gets a little bit brighter, but much dimmer. My big takeaway when comparing these side by side, especially in Apple Home, is they're basically the same in all of the lighting qualities that I look for. If you've ever tapped around the color wheel in Apple Home, you know that it snaps to the closest color that it'll produce, unlike in the Hue app where you can really fine tune to very specific colors. So as we're talking through new bulbs, updated bulbs, but specifically the thread options, I decided to switch out my old Philips Hue A19 bulb for the Aqara T2 to see how it compared. And I hoped that this was visible from my camera settings, but the Hue bulbs were still slightly more vibrant, including that Essential bulb. Where does that leave us? I think you'd be extremely happy with the new Philips Hue Essential A19 bulb when paired through the bridge without the Matter update. As much as it pains me to say that, I'd hate to lose all those features, the app, and adaptive lighting. But if you were ditching the bridge anyway, or didn't want an extra hub, or really just wanted to prioritize your thread network, then I might even recommend the Aqara T2, given that it does have adaptive lighting when connected via thread. But if you went with Hue for that brand trust, then it's still not a bad choice. Bottom line, Matter over Thread bulbs just got the major boost that they needed, given that the options were really dwindling. And with that, I'm done talking about smart home lighting. I've done 5 videos in a row, and I'm not gonna do one for the foreseeable future. Like and subscribe, thank you.